Hello, Prasad, and welcome to Startup Saturday.
Yeah, hi Deepa.
We are delighted to have Prasad Bhide, the founder of Aajicare, who started Aajicare on 15th August 2012, a very important date. I think, again, in the promise of providing freedom to seniors. I don't know whether that was your vision.
Absolutely, I wanted to make the date. I chose date very particularly. I wanted it to be something that is giving freedom to myself as well as we are at the same time empowering the caregivers as well as the elders. So it becomes the day is quite important. So I chose that particular day to kick off my startup. Yeah.
So, Prasad, if you had to make an elevator pitch about what Aajicare does.
So Ajicare delivers care, comfort, and happiness. That is what we do for last 10 years, more than a decade we have been existing. But our focus is how do we empower caregivers and elders lead a happy and dignified life. That is what we do. So every service that we do, our focus is how do we really empower our caregivers and elders and deliver care, comfort, and happiness. That is what we do. We will do through multiple services, but that's the core.
Amazing. And how does Ajicare differentiate itself from competition, say?
So I think a lot of time people ask me this question in terms of what is that differentiate? Is it a tech platform? Is it your center location? What is that differentiate? And I think I always tell people it is people. We are into people business, right? I think our culture, our people is the differentiator. Nothing else will differentiate us, and we focus a lot on people. So, what does that mean? We hire people. We do a lot of testing before we do lot of interview round before we take people, so we make sure that we are getting right people, empathetic people in my system, and then we focus a lot on the training them, training on the skills, training on the culture of the organization, because that is the only differentiator I have as against, right? So simple example, if I look at my competitors and us, my entire team is on my payroll, while if you look at when it comes to blue collar jobs that a larger organization without taking them, they are not on their payrolls,
Hmm.
right? This is a very simple differentiation that I can tell you. All the people who are with me get provident fund, medical insurance, leaves, of caregiver as well, right? If you look at most of my competitors, 95% of them, they are not on their payroll. They are on a
Hmm.
per day job, right? Once you have that tells you the story. There
Hmm.
are caregivers who are with me for 10 years. Why are they? There's a reason for that, right? So that's the differentiator. We believe in people. Our focus is people. We train them, we groom them, we nurture them. I think that's the differentiator.
Was it always this focus, or is it something that you discovered along the journey?
No, I think I was damn sure at the start, because the reason I started was with my mother, and when I saw my mother was suffering, at the same time caregiver was suffering, I always thought that unless I empower these caregivers, make that job very dignified job, they should feel proud about doing it. It is not going to work. How do we do that? Unless we provide a safe space where they can work, unless we provide them dignity. So these are the basic things that are required, right? What I'm talking are basic things, but what I'm saying is in current market, those basic things are also missing. So it is not something discovered. I think I was very clear. And if you, I think one of the reason can be I have worked with Tata, right? I have been part of TCS for 14 years. I have seen how Tata works with their people. I think that is somewhere definitely has influenced me.
Wonderful.
I have seen how, whether it is Ram Durai, Mr. N. Chandra, I have seen them being biggest. It was they were very approachable to the people, I think, and they have always believed in empowering their employees. And nowadays, I don't use employee word. I say all of them are my team.
Hmm. In fact, I remember your company first started to provide training, which I
Correct.
think was so different from because you were totally focused on saying, how can I take care of people, training
I
people.
started just to train people, right? And then later on, I formed a company. For first 2 years, I was just training people. It was out of my passion. And as I have told last time, it is 5 years I was doing along with my job as a passion. So I used to train people who were working as a maids. So I used to go and explain them why they need to get trained, which takes a lot of time to convince that why they should get trained. And earlier I used to pay them money. So yes, the focus was training, and it still continues to be that, because that is what differentiates us. A lot of time people hire directly with a 2 days training, 3 days training. If you look at my any of biggest competitor, they provide 2 or 3 days training. My training is 2 months training. So I observe people during that time. If we feel there are red flags, we drop those people.
Yeah. And what are those red flags? And how do you? It must be very tempting to say maybe he learned along the way. So where are the clear no-nos and the guardrails for people retention for you?
Yeah, so there are three. So I think one is that before they get into trading, they go undergo 3 level of interviews. After that, what we see is the behavior, because behavior is something you can't really capture during the interview, right? Behavior you need to observe over a time. So if we see someone who doesn't have patience,
Hmm.
right? We typically give them 3 warning during the training, and if they continue to behave where they don't have patience level with them, we drop them, because that is the first thing that I require, right? If I see any substance abuse during the training, we drop them immediately.
Hmm.
If we see any aggression level in discussions, right, or
Hmm.
we see any ethical issues in dealing, we drop them. So
Hmm.
there are 4 to 5 things that we don't negotiate, and if we see those kind of behavior, we
Yeah.
don't continue with them.
Because your model is so people centric, somewhere there could be a temptation to say, how will I find the right people to expand? So let me just work on maybe one or two. As opposed to that, counterintuitively almost, you continue to have centers on ground, you also have a plan. How do you marry the two? Are you afraid about having the right people, being understaffed? Does that become a barrier, or obviously you've not let that be a deterrent to your growth ambition and strategy? So tell us a little bit on how you marry the two, what I see as a dilemma.
No, so I think we have evolved, right? So, and we continue to evolve. What does that mean is, we started as a company which is into primarily into providing caregivers, right? And we continued that for 5 years, and then we evolved as a something where we started as a daycare center for elders. Then we evolved that into an assisted living center, and we feel this is a model which really is the need and can be scaled. So we moved from just providing caregivers at home to starting assisted living centers, right? Now, assisted living centers is something a huge need, because we saw that when we used to work with Alzheimer dementia patients, cancer patients, palliative care, family used to struggle manage them at home. Even though you want to provide best care, sometimes you can't provide that because of the kind of life that all of us go through, right?
Right.
So I saw that as an opportunity where it's a win-win again, right? So we have evolved our model from caregiving to an assisted living center, right? After assisted living, we got into something called an elder buddy. We earlier used to call it as a geriatric counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a model which is not really existing beyond 1 or 2 places across India.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing like what we do, where we have a team of psychologists who work with elderly on engaging them. People
Ah,
who are lonely, people who are depressed, people who are having dealing with Alzheimer dementia. We go and understand them, and we design sessions to engage them, and we train their families to how to engage them when we are not there. So I think we have evolved our model. The reason we continue to focus on training and care was because that's what I feel the biggest differentiator Ajicare brings, and those are the people where the need is maximum. So I felt that, and those are that carries even in those people carry even in our assisted living. Our assist when people ask how you are differentiated from other assisted living centers, my answer is look at my people, look at how my people treat with elders. You
yeah.
go to other elder centers and you see how they treat. That's my differentiator. I don't have any other differentiator.
Yeah, yeah. See, so somewhere you've married the whole profit, there's a purpose, but you've just put a whole deal of emphasis on how do you make it very, very uh, elder centric, I think, in everything that you're doing, right?
Correct. So I think the important is to understand where is the need, where is the problem, right?
Hmm.
I think a lot of people come to me. I speak to at least 5 to 10 people every month who come to me through LinkedIn asking me they want to do something in elder care. What can they do? I
Yeah.
always tell them you have to find the problem statement which is big enough, right? And pilot with people. Don't pilot it with Excel and PowerPoints, right?
Correct.
Pilot with people. See what you feel is a problem. Is that really a problem? Is that big enough?
Yeah.
Are people ready to pay for it? Are you able to add value to it? I
Yeah.
think those are the questions I keep on asking to myself. Am I adding value to people? The answer is yes. Then people are ready to pay for it and ready to pay premium as well.
In doing all of these things, there must have been some, misses also. So what were some of those things where you didn't get it right, or you expected something but the outcomes were different? Did that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Many times. So there are three, four major areas which didn't work out for us. One is the daycare center. I wanted it to work. We tried that couple of times, but it has not worked. And there are a number of reasons for it. One is the acceptance level, ability. Why should I pay? I think didn't understood our clients that time well. Your positioning and your timing. I think all of that went wrong.
Uh-huh.
So our daycare center concept never really took off. I think I must admit that the kind of scale that we wanted to do in caregiving, we were not able to do. And the reason can be that we are very focused.
Hmm.
And when you are so much quality focused, I think scaling becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have been able to scale to the level that we should have on a caregiver part. But I'm happy with that, not an issue. But I think assisted living as an area, elder body is an area where we are able to scale, and I think that is definitely an area where both these services will increase in next 5 to 10 years tremendously. But
Yes.
in terms of business, we also try to go to tier two city, which is
Hmm.
in Delhi. I think people did not accepted that.
Uh-huh.
So I feel that tier two, tier three cities are still not ready. Maybe 5 years down the line, they might accept.
Yeah.
At this time, the center concept, right,
Yeah.
doesn't work there. Home care is definitely workable in tier two, tier three cities.
Okay.
The center, assisted living center, did not work in tier two cities.
So, Prasad, there are these Athashri, for example, which provides residence. Did the thought, I just mentioned Athashri because that's like top of mind, Mumbai, Pune, people know it. When you were piloting, did you also think of some kind of, collaborations with people who do residences? Because then your scaling becomes easier. These guys are also in the UK. Your work has been recognized in the UK. Did you do that path? Did you go that path?
So I believe in collaboration, and we do collaborate with some of the organizations, but not from a scaling perspective.
Acha.
We are speaking to some of the senior living facilities like what you have mentioned. There is a big opportunity, and because now senior living is something in area which I see thriving and will grow,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of opportunity in that space where we can work. So we are in talks. We have in fact spoken to Athashri. We have spoken to other three, four
Yeah.
senior living. So that is something work in progress.
What about tie-ups with hospitals? Because I'm told that in South, for example, it's very typical to have a elder assisted living facility, a tie-up with a hospital. So, whether you like it or not, that patient, the family has to take them to that as those kind of constraints.
No,
Did
so we
those
have
things?
the same. All my centers are attached with one of the hospitals, but that's not a mandate.
Okay.
It's an optional thing. If they have any other preference to go to any other hospital, because then people feel I'm getting money out of it and I want to go to a certain hospital.
Right.
I don't believe in that. So, but we have our own preference. We like to work with the same team because there is a
Yeah.
comfort, there is a
Correct.
certain level of trust
Yeah.
that we have. So we tell them that, but it's not a mandatory thing, it's an optional. But each of my center has got linked hospital, that is must, and that also gives kind of a comfort to the families as well, that in case there is an issue, we have something we can react to it very quickly.
So, what's on your mind these days? What is Prasad Bhide thinking about?
So I feel that there is a lot to do in the assisted living space, right? My focus going to be doing this in the cities.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add more values, more services into this assisted living. For example, currently we are only providing long-term residential care, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I want is to start geriatric clinic. I want to start rehab center within that. I want to have a kind of a shop where we are going to sell only senior specific products
Okay.
which are very unique, which are not available in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And I come across a lot of such startups which don't have anything to sell really, right? And online is definitely a market, but people want to try, people want to come and see whether it makes sense for them or not. So we want to give those opportunities. So I want to add a lot of stuff into my existing. So my next assisted living center is going to be bigger. So currently,
Mm.
whatever centers that we have, they used to be somewhere between 25 to 30 bedded
Okay.
centers. The going forward, my centers will be from 50 bed to 80 bed, so that I can add lot of value there. So as I said, we will have doctors working there, which are into dedicatedly working in geriatric care.
Mm.
So I will have counseling sessions there. I will have entire service on the ground floor. So
Mm.
similar to hospitals, we will have entire service range for the elderly available in these assisted living centers, where we can add a lot more value beyond our residents. So people in the community can get benefited.
So, one thing you will tell the entrepreneurs that are looking to get into elder care, what is that one thing you want to tell them?
One thing I will definitely tell that there is a huge opportunities available. Right, there are, I will say, at least 100 different options that anyone can who wants to get into this industry. It is going to get bigger every year, right? For next 20 to 30 years, there is no going back. It's going to get crazy. So in terms of opportunities, you will see a lot of opportunity. The only thing I will always say that I think you need to find your problem statements well. Once you find the problem statement well, I think solution will come out. But make sure that you are understanding your problem statement well, and make sure you are understanding your client well. I think if we are able to do these two things, once you understand needs, once you understand your client, I think then the solution will keep evolving. You might not get right at the first time, but your second version, third version will be better.
Your top priority for the coming year is going to be?
My priority is going to be two things. One is setting up, as I said, large two centers in Mumbai and Pune or Ahmedabad, or Goa. We are looking at 3, 4 locations. So we want to set up two large centers with all these services, and we want to make sure we are giving importance to mental health of elders. So we are going to focus on our elder buddy model. I want to make sure that that service is not spoken much. I want to make sure that I spread a lot of word and awareness about that. So I will focus on those things: mental health of elders, and assisted living centers.
You talked about your team. Three words your team uses to describe you, Prasad.
Um, I don't know. You'll have to ask my team, but I can be little impatient sometimes when I don't see results. But I think I'm quite a person who is a listening board. So I listen to my team a lot. But at the same time, if I don't get results, if you are not moving, then I can be little impatient to manage.
You're a techie. What's your favorite app on your phone?
Nowadays, I'm trying to see a new app called the Khayal, which is into elder care. So I'm exploring them. I think they're doing wonderful job.
Kreyal?
Khayal,
Khayal.
Khayal is an Bangalore-based startup. I'm trying to explore them. They are doing wonderful, providing a lot of services for elders. I think it's something that I'm exploring, and I want to collaborate with them. I'm in discussion with them. So that's the app that I'm looking at.
And this is my very last input to everybody that's watching. Prasad Bhide is a marathoner. He invests a lot of time in his health and I think in fitness. So,
Yeah.
Prasad, I'm sure to stay on the course, you have to look after yourself first.
100%, 100%. And I think you need to have people around you. I have built a good network of people, but I think marathon keeps me in good shape, in good mental and physical both. It keeps me something to look beyond my the work. So I'm doing my Mumbai marathon, which is in Jan 2024. I'm preparing for full marathon, 42 kilometer. We just did 32 kilometer last Sunday. So something that excites me, something that I look forward every time. So you need to have something which will keep you mentally and physically fit. And I thought marathon is one thing where it helps me connect with people as well as help me stay fit.
So, friends, those of you who are watching, I must tell you that Prasad Bhide is my go to number for any friends or family that is having issues on elder care. I think the reliability and the comfort, and like he says, quality is a tough act to follow. And your commitment, Prasad, to quality is, I think, what has not just won you accolades, but I guess it also motivates your people and leading from the front. I guess it's like they are seeing that you are not caught up by just doing things, but doing things well is as important as doing things, and like you said, adding value to the lives of elders. The opportunity is there, but how can we do this well? How can we do this gracefully, and how can we genuinely add value and test a lot of ideas, find that big problem, work with it, pilot it, and keep, I think, looking for partners, collaborators to see how you can grow the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Prasad, last words, and we can then wrap, close.
Last word for whom? So
The
then I
viewers.
no, I think I want to make sure that for everyone, I think all of us have to respect our elders. I think that is the least that we can do. We want to create an elder-friendly environment, elder-friendly community. I think, and it starts right at our home. I struggle. But I make sure that the people, the elderly within family or surrounding me, we hear them, we listen them, we respect them, we value them. I think that is what we all of us are going to get elder, not for anyone else but at least for ourselves. That's a habit that we want to build. Let's create an elder friendly society. I think we'll go a long way.
Thank you, Prasad. As always, inspiring and humbling listening to you. Thank you for joining us today for
Thank you for
Startup
having
Chat.
me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.